It looked like Adam Silver has found himself in some serious hot water over the management of the WNBA, and is they faking ratings?
Adam Silver just learned the hard way. Never mess with Caitlin Clark's spotlight. What started as a routine interview turned into a full-blown PR disaster, forcing him to backtrack faster than a bad referee call. Now reports say he's practically begging Caitlin to return after her massive off-season deal sent shockwaves through the league. So, should the WNBA be apologizing to her or thanking her? Silver probably thought he'd breeze through the week, drop a few buzzwords about growth and progress, and move on. Instead, he stumbled right into the biggest controversy the WNBA's faced all year. Because the second he mentioned Caitlin Clark's name, everything went downhill, and the league's still scrambling to clean up the fallout.
He stepped out and started talking about the crazy nonsense of a civil war that's going on between Iron Man or Iron Woman, Kathy Engelbert, and Captain America, Nafisa Clark.
Let's rewind a bit. Adam Silver sat down with NBC News for what was supposed to be a relaxed conversation about leadership and league expansion, the usual polished talk about growth and inclusivity. But somewhere between the buzzwords and the smiles, he slipped. Silver decided to address the WNBA's internal problems, and that's when he said the quiet part out loud. The WNBA doesn't just have economic issues, it has relationship issues. That line hit harder than a flagrant foul because, in plain English, he basically confirmed what fans have been shouting all season. The league is broken from the inside out. And just like that, social media blew up. Silver probably thought he was just being transparent, but honesty in PR is like lighting a match in a fireworks factory. Players started side-eyeing him. Fans started dragging him, and before long, the internet had crowned him the guy who finally admitted the WNBA is chaos. The thing is, he wasn't wrong. The WNBA's got problems stacked higher than Caitlin Clark's three-point stats. Players are calling out refs weekly, executives are dodging interviews, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is somewhere acting like everything's fine. But the moment Silver mentioned relationship issues, people took it as him throwing Kathy under the bus. And honestly, they're not entirely wrong to try to soften the blow by complimenting her first, saying she's presided over historic growth, but then immediately followed it up with, "We still have big relationship issues with players." So, which is it, Adam? Historic growth or complete disconnection? You can't brag about rocket ship success while your players are publicly threatening a lockout. And with one sentence, Silver turned a calm interview into a PR nightmare.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says Caitlin Clark has set the world on fire. Silver didn't reveal much about their brief conversation, but his admiration for Clark's achievements couldn't have been clearer. Speaking on FanDuel Sports Network, he said Caitlin Clark set the world on fire, not just this community. And it's easy to see why. From dominating college basketball at Iowa, where her famous number 22 jersey was retired, to becoming the first overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, Clark has been unstoppable.
Before we even get to the apology part, let's remember why Silver's comments hit such a nerve. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the reason the WNBA has mainstream attention right now. When she plays, ratings skyrocket. When she talks, social media explodes. When she sneezes, headlines multiply instantly.
Just own up and step down. I believe that's what should happen. Kathy need to just walk away. We're going off into the sunset. Well, the half bright sunset. I just say, because it ain't going to be a good goodbye. But I feel like at this point, she going to have to step down. Stephen A. Smith said it last week, and I'm saying it right now.
When Adam Silver gave his leadership and growth interview, fans didn't just hear another commissioner talking. They heard someone downplaying the one player keeping his league alive. The second he brushed past Caitlin Clark's impact, people felt like he was biting the hand that's feeding the WNBA its mainstream attention. And honestly, they weren't wrong, because behind the polished talking points, something big was happening. Caitlin Clark had just signed another massive off-season speaking deal, rumored to be worth nearly $500,000 per event. She's literally printing money without even touching a basketball. Meanwhile, the WNBA has been scrambling to prove it can stand on its own without her. That's why Silver tried to sound confident, calling the league's progress a rocket trajectory. But fans weren't buying it because the numbers didn't match the narrative. The same week he gave that interview, reports came out claiming WNBA finals ratings had doubled. Sounds great, right? Except there was one catch. Nielsen quietly changed its counting system. This year, they started including bars, airports, and even hotel lobby TVs in the totals. So yeah, the ratings look higher, but only because the math changed. It's like bragging about growing taller when you're just wearing heels. Fans saw right through it. They accused the league of cooking the stats to make it seem like Caitlyn wasn't the main attraction. Ben Silver's relationship issues comment made it worse. It came off like he was defending Commissioner Kathy Engelbert instead of addressing the real problems, or acknowledging the one player responsible for those inflated ratings. Within hours, hashtags started flying. Hashtag Silver apologized to Caitlyn, and hashtag WNBA fixed the mess. Even neutral fans chimed in asking, how can you brag about growth when your players don't even trust you? And they had a point. Listen to the players themselves. Frustration is everywhere. Nneka Ogwumike publicly called out league leadership on national TV. Sophie Cunningham hinted at a potential lockout. And then came the bombshell from Candace Parker, who said Adam Silver texts her more than her own commissioner. That one stung. On her podcast, Candace revealed Silver personally congratulated her on her baby, her retirement, and her Amazon deal. Kathy Engelbert? Silence. Total silence. Even Sabrina Ionescu admitted she's closer to Adam than to her own league's leader. That shouldn't even be possible. By the time Silver delivered his growth speech, fans weren't listening to the buzzwords. They were watching the hypocrisy unfold. Then came the viral moment. Silver admitting the WNBA's problems were personal. Translation? Everyone behind the scenes can't stand each other. It felt like a corporate family meeting where the parents are smiling while the kids throw food under the table. And just when it seemed like he couldn't make things worse, he mentioned Caitlyn Clark again, trying to sound neutral, but only digging the hole deeper. Every word made it seem like he was pretending she wasn't the one single-handedly keeping the league relevant. The internet didn't forgive that. Comments flooded in. Bro, you should beg Caitlyn Clark to come back. She is your ratings. Adam Silver talking about historic growth without mentioning Caitlyn Clark is like pretending Taylor Swift didn't sell out her own stadium. It got ugly fast. And the craziest part? Adam Silver knows how bad it looks. He's one of the most media-savvy commissioners in sports. He rarely fumbles a PR moment. But this time, yeah, he dropped the ball hard. Adam Silver just learned a brutal lesson. Never underestimate Caitlyn Clark's power. What started as a harmless interview about leadership and league growth turned into a full-blown PR crisis, forcing him to do quiet damage control behind the scenes. Sources inside the league say he's been personally reaching out to Caitlyn's team, calling, texting, trying to clear the air. Translation: he's on an apology tour. Reportedly, Silver told her his comments were misinterpreted and that he deeply values what she's done for women's basketball. He even hinted at involving her more directly in league decisions going forward. In other words, he's begging her not to pull a Tom Brady and retire early to do media full-time. Because let's be honest, Caitlyn Clark doesn't need the WNBA anymore. Her sponsorship lineup alone reads like a Fortune 500 ad: Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, and half a dozen others. Add in her off-season speaking engagements, rumored to pay up to $500,000 per event. And she's making more from one appearance than most players make in an entire season. If she wanted to, she could take a year off, still make millions, and stay more relevant than the league itself. And that's exactly what's terrifying the WNBA right now. If Caitlyn ever decided to step away, even temporarily, it's game over. Attendance would plummet. Merch sales would dry up. TV ratings would collapse overnight. Because Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player. She is the WNBA's marketing department, PR team, and fan base rolled into one. Oh yeah, when people say Adam Silver is apologizing, they're not exaggerating. He might not be begging on camera, but behind closed doors, he's doing everything he can to keep her happy. And that's wild, because it's supposed to be the other way around. Normally, players need the league. But now, the league needs one player. That's how powerful Caitlyn Clark has become. She's turned the WNBA into something it's never been before. A league that lives and dies by one name. That it's impressive and terrifying. It proves how much one superstar can transform a sport, but it also exposes just how fragile the system is. Because if your entire historic growth depends on one athlete staying loyal, that's not a business plan. That's a gamble. Still, Silver tried to keep his cool. During his NBC interview, he looked straight into the camera and said, "I'm confident we can fix these issues and keep this league on a rocket trajectory." Bro, that ship didn't just hit the moon. It crashed, exploded, and burned. Fans watching online couldn't stop laughing. Rocket trajectory? Into what? Chaos. Because right now, between the rating controversies, player drama, and leadership breakdown, the only thing skyrocketing is the league's bad press. That's why this apology is happening quietly, out of sight. Silver knows that if Caitlin Clark ever claps back publicly, the fallout would be catastrophic. She doesn't even have to rant. One sarcastic tweet and headlines write themselves. Caitlin Clark calls out WNBA leadership again. He's trying to prevent that moment before it happens. But fans aren't stupid. They see the panic. They're calling him desperate, saying he's groveling to the very player who accidentally became his boss. Because that's what's really happening. Right now, Caitlin Clark is the boss, and Adam Silver just realized it too late. After that NBC interview blew up, his PR team must have gone into full emergency mode. One minute he's talking about growth and relationships, and the next he's being roasted online for pretending Caitlin Clark isn't the reason anyone's tuning in. And honestly, fans have every right to react that way. Because here's the truth. The WNBA finally broke through to mainstream audiences this year, and everyone knows why. Caitlin didn't just bring fans. She brought families, casual viewers, and even NBA fans who hadn't watched a women's game in years. She turned a niche league into a point